Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to a brand new series. This is Soundout's Pickups. This is a series that I came up with kind of on a whim, and I want to see where we go with this, and I want to take any feedback that anybody has in the comments below. I'd very much appreciate it. Or if you want to comment on Twitter or something like that, that works as well. The concept behind this series is I'm going to take a look at what I picked up in the last week. So I want to upload this series on Sundays, so this episode will cover things I got between January 27th and February 2nd. The idea is mostly toys, comics, games, movies, TV shows. It's not going to be like, look at the groceries I bought, or I have new socks, unless I really didn't get anything else that week, in which case that might happen. But yeah, basically it's just I'm going to kind of talk and sort of do mini reviews on the stuff I got, because I feel like, you know, I don't need to do full videos on a lot of this stuff, or it may not have the reach, but you might enjoy seeing it unfold. Now, this episode is incredibly DC heavy just because of what happened. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, it just what happened. But I think there'll be some more variety in the future. And I'm not going to exclude things, so if like I buy, you know, a Marvel Legend, I'm going to talk about it here. But I'll still do my normal Marvel Legends review, and then if it's a Power Rangers thing, if I decide to review it, I'll probably talk about it briefly in this segment and not do a full thing. But for a lot of this stuff, it's going to be like, this is the one time you'll hear my opinions on certain figures. So that's the kind of idea we have going on here. So let's get started. So we're going to start with my pickups from, I think it was Monday the 28th. I'll have a note list for next week. But Monday the 28th, I went out to Target to go find Primal Age stuff. Primal Age is a new DC line by Funko, which is DC characters done in the Masters of the Universe style, specifically the vintage figure style. And I absolutely love these designs. So they were first released at Amazon in November of last year, and then Target just got a run of them. The ones in Amazon had really poor QC and had a lot of breakage issues, but the Target versions do not have those issues. So that was really cool. First things first, I went to one of my Targets and I found the DC Primal Age 100-page Giant. This is a comic that is 100 pages of Primal Age stories with the likes of Louise Simonson and Marv Wolfman writing, and a lot of great artists. In fact, here's your list. Jerry Ordway is involved too. That was the third name I was trying to think of. Marv Wolfman did the majority of this, but this is a $10 comic. It's got, like I said, 100 pages of new stories involving Primal Age, including some characters like Mr. Freeze getting a modified origin for this universe. The whole idea is they're set in barbarian times, and everything is more primal. Some really good stuff. I highly recommend picking this up. Now, my stores, this comic was at one store that didn't have the figures, then another store had the figures but no comic, and then another store had the figures and the comic, but the comic was in the Funko section, not in the end cap of figures, and then the fourth store I went to had a tag for the comic in the end cap, but not the actual comic there. But definitely keep an eye out for this. This is definitely cool stuff. So if you're into the Primal Age line, this is something to pick up for sure. Highly recommended. So then we go to what I found at the second Target I went to, which was the villains. And so first of all, we have the Joker. The Joker here rendered in a barbarian style, so he's much more muscular than usual. I love the ha scars on his chest. I think that's like one of the coolest little details of the figure. I wish these knives were removable, but I understand why they're not. My biggest complaint here is that he has his axe, but his hand is molded too small to fit around the actual grip part, so he has to hold it a little bit weird. And that's kind of an issue with the figures in general, is that they are all solid ABS plastic. Like, they're not vinyl like pop vinyls or Funko, but there's like no soft goods except for stuff like this. So whereas hands would normally be a little squishy, so you could clip on weapons and, you know, they'd have a little bit of movability. No, those things are solid, and the weapons have a little bit more give to them than the hands do. So keep that in mind. I don't think they're definitely solid figures, and they're not gonna like break. Like, these feel good, especially the hips. Those are the biggest problems in the Amazon release. But I also wouldn't like throw them against a wall either. So keep that in mind. If you have small kids, maybe hold off on these. Maybe get them some other DC stuff from Mattel. These are a little bit like older kid, adult collector kind of things, just because it's all solid ABS. Which, I mean, these are hefty, but it's also kind of a problem. But I do like the Joker. He's pretty cool. Speaking of cool, here's Mr. Freeze. Now, Mr. Freeze is distinctive because he has 4 accessories instead of the normal 2. He's got a removable helmet here, an ice sword, an ice claw, and an ice shield. Now, the ice shield is a problem, is that clip is way too small for this dude's wrists, which are way too big. So I think this was just included because everyone has this like a sword and shield kind of thing. This is just completely pointless, which sucks because, you know, you can't use it. But overall, he looks really cool. I dig the look of this Mr. Freeze, and I really like the version of the character that they did. By the way, the articulation on these guys, it's like, you know, neck moves, some better than others. Shoulder swivel, ball jointed hips, and waist joints. They're $12 a piece, which isn't too bad considering all you get, and they are pretty large. So there's some good value there. Next, we'll talk about Scarecrow. Scarecrow's pretty cool. He looks a little beefier than Mr. Freeze, which is kind of odd, but, you know, fear gas. I love his shield. It's like a traditional wooden shield with a painted crow on it. And he's got like a scythe, handheld scythe, which is awesome. He's pretty cool. I like him. I like the cape he has. I think the cape is unique to, I think him and Wonder Woman are the only two. Him, Wonder Woman, and Batman are the only ones that have capes in Wave 1. But yeah, really awesome figure. And then the one I wanted the most of the whole line, and was the first one I found, which was King Shark. Now, King Shark, he basically looks like this in the comics, just a giant shark man. So it's perfect, but I love that they actually took the detail to not only paint on these red scars, like he's got battle damage to him, but they're actually sculpted. They're not just painted. Like, those are actual sculpted details. I gotta give a lot of credit to Funko for that. That's something Mattel doesn't even do, is like sculpt in scars. But yeah, they are actually deviated in, so that's really awesome. I love the seaweed skirt, the fish hook. He's just amazing. I absolutely love this figure. Even he has no neck. That's fine. Neither does the DC Multiverse King Shark. Also, I found at the same Target was Ace the Bat Hound. I'm thinking about Wave 2 already. Ace Bat Hound goes with Batman. Now these are $20 are the beasts. They're kind of like Battle Cat, Panther from Master of the Universe. And in that vintage style, they are static figures. Like, this is no articulation at all in this guy, which kind of sucks. I wish there would have been like leg movement maybe. But it also makes it a very solid figure, and he's hollow, so he's not too heavy, which I think is important. Also, you can remove the harness. It does come off, and the mask comes off as well, but you have to kind of like pull it. You have to stretch it around the ears, which is a little scary. They're repainting this into Crypto the Super Dog, getting him some new armor, which is pretty cool. There's a little weird thing where like this foot was mismolded somehow, unless it's supposed to be that way, so it doesn't line up on the ground as the others. But it's pretty cool. I wish I would have found Batman. I still haven't found Batman. So he doesn't have his companion yet, but he's pretty cool. I kind of want to get a second one to make into Wolf from Young Justice, just because it looks like Wolf from Young Justice. I could even put that in my 6-inch display. So it's really cool. I did notice the saddle has like a bat shape to it, which is awesome. I've had trouble getting figures on here that aren't Batman. I imagine he's designed to work better. So that was basically, yeah, that was my Monday. Was the 4 villains, the Bat Hound, and Primal Age. So continuing forward, I go out Wednesday because on Tuesday I found out late in the evening that Reign of the Supermen, the newest animated DC movie, had a steelbook release, and nobody told me. And so I wasn't there on Tuesday. Luckily for me, Target actually misstocked Reign of the Supermen and put the steelbooks behind the regular Blu-rays inside of a plastic case with a spring loaded on it. So it actually worked out for me because I don't think anybody knew they had steelbooks. So I'm really happy to get this because I really love this movie. I actually went and saw the theatrical release of this because Reign of the Supermen is one of my favorite Superman comics of all time. And so seeing an adaptation of it was really awesome. And I went to see the double feature Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen with some of my family and friends, and it was really great. But this steelbook's awesome, especially this back art. This back art is fantastic. I really love it. It's something I didn't expect with the back art, which kind of got me to be like, okay, does any of my Targets have it? Really nice artwork here. There's a code that's already been used, and there's Apocalypse. So really cool stuff with this. I really like it. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Death of Superman, be sure to check out that first Both movies are on DC Universe for DC Universe subscribers like me, so I definitely recommend those. This is a really good movie. So that was what I went out on Wednesday. So I picked that up, and at the same Target was where I got the Joker Beast. Let me move her. The Joker Beast, because here's the thing, I could not find the entire Primal Age line at any one store, mind you. Every store had the Batcave, and every store had at least Joker, but finding everything at one place didn't happen at all, and it still hasn't happened. But here's the Joker Beast, really awesome. I think I like him more than Ace, and that's just 'cause he's a little bit bigger, so, you know, that money. He doesn't feel as hollow in the head, like his head's not as hollow as his torso is. I love the chair throne look for the saddle for Joker. Of course, saddle's removable, static figure, but man, this is just such a cool design. Whereas, like, you know, Ace is just like, it's Ace, but roided out to be a giant wolf. This is like a brand new creature, and it's just called the Joker Beast. I really like it. It was cool in the comic, too. I do wish the jaw moved, at least. Like, that was a point of articulation that I think could have worked out. But, you know, overall, as a static piece, it works, because he doesn't have to move too much. So he just sits there, getting Joker to sit on it. It's a little awkward, but not too bad. He just kind of plops down there. The backing really helps with that. So then moving on to Friday. Friday, I decided to go out to Best Buy because, oh yeah, I forgot that they had DC TV on sale. So they had everything for CW as well. I think everything was on $14.99 for seasons of Blu-ray, except for Black Lightning. Black Lightning was $24.99. I picked up that previously. I have all the previous seasons of Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends. I just didn't feel like... I couldn't find Legends at the store, but I didn't really feel like buying Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl even at $14.99, because it was like, well, you know, I could buy another Primal Age figure for that. So I was kind of thinking, but I had to get Gotham. This is absolutely one of my favorite DC shows of all time. I wrote off this show originally. I'd watched 2 episodes and I wasn't really into it, so I stopped watching. But then last summer, I was like, oh, I should watch this because it's coming to an end soon. And I was like, I kept seeing things about it. I was like, I should watch this. And I finally did, and man, how this became one of my favorite DC shows. It's kind of insane. And I'm sad it's ending now, now that I've watched the show. So I really like this. This season looks really cool. I have seasons 1 through 3. I picked them up on an Amazon deal during Black Friday. So I actually got those really cheap. So this was nice to get it at 15. And I'm definitely picking up season 5. But really cool, really nice sets. Cool bonus feature. I like getting these for the bonus features and the deleted scenes. And the chance that I'll watch it all again someday, which will probably happen when I have all of it on Blu-ray. But yeah, Gotham, it's highly recommended. It's on Netflix. Check it out. So went to Best Buy, and then that was all about Best Buy, but I went to the Target right next door, and that's where I found Green Lantern and Aquaman. So here's Green Lantern. This was the first store of my area to have the heroes. It almost makes me think the heroes and villains are shipped in separate cases. I'm not really too sure how they're doing it, but I only found 1 Green Lantern and 1 Aquaman. So no Batman, no Wonder Woman, but they did have the Batcave, the t-shirt, and the lunchbox. 3 things I'll get sometime later when I'm not hunting figures, I guess. But Green Lantern's really cool. I like the lantern as a necklace. I like the armor being clear like a construct. The shield is really awesome. I love the axe with the Green Lantern symbols in it. And he's got a mace as well, which could totally be repainted and used for a Hawkman, just saying. Plus a molded Green Lantern ring is really nice. Really cool figure. I really dig him. So he's awesome. And then Aquaman, who goes great with King Shark, is pretty amazing. Plus there's a Black Manta for him in Wave 2, which is awesome. Trident, that's the only accessory he gets. So I guess that's how Green Lantern got 3, was because Aquaman got 1 or something. But, you know, his other hand's a hook, so... I like how they brought the hook-handed Aquaman into these designs for this. But I really like the look of this Aquaman. I think he's one of the coolest ones. The braided hair, like the tips of his beard being braided, is really cool, really 80s. Really awesome. Like a really cool figure. And then the grand surprise of my Target run on Friday was 2 more Hero World figures. For those that don't know, these are static figures by Funko of different properties. They have like Scooby-Doo, Power Rangers, and the like. But I've collected the DC ones heavily. I have all the Teen Titans Go ones. I got the 60s Batman and Catwoman in the Batman box that they did. And of course I got all the DC comic-based ones which included a 5-pack that came out, I think, in October or so. And they advertised in the back a Scarecrow and Two-Face 2-pack and a Jessica Cruz Green Lantern and Batgirl 2-pack. But I hadn't seen them, and I didn't see anybody else that had seen them, so I was kind of thinking they might have been canceled. So I was really shocked to find these, but really happy as well. So hopefully I can find Jessica Cruz and Batgirl somewhere, because that'll kind of round out the collection, because then we'll finally have a Green Lantern in the line. But I've loved this line. I love the love they gave to Hawkman and Hawkgirl by putting them in Wave 1. But anyways, I love the styling. I love the character designs. I'll take any of these that they put out. They're just awesome. I really like these, and I put them on my comic shelf to go alongside my comic books, because it just accents that really well. But yeah, so these are really cool, and hopefully I can find that Batgirl and Green Lantern set, because that would be awesome. So the last thing I got this week was DC Multiverse Vixen. Now this is from the Lex Luthor wave, which should have been out March of 2018, but you know, Mattel did a Mattel thing and didn't release it for a long time. I eventually ordered a set of the Lex Luthor wave from Paul Mart's store, which is a great little small business, but he got shorted on his assortments, so I wasn't able to get the Lex wave, and instead got the Lobo wave, which actually worked out pretty good because I really love the Lobo wave. But I still need to go back and get the Lex wave. This is the hardest one that I need to get. I didn't find her in store, I didn't get her on Amazon, couldn't get her on any of the websites, so I ended up having to pull the trigger and get one off eBay. So I had to pay more than I really wanted to, but it was either pay more and get the figure, or don't pay more and you miss out on a character you've been waiting 9 years for, because I thought when she was on packaging for DC Universe Classics in 2010 that she'd actually get released. But it took this long, and finally they've made Vixen, and she's on the new female body that actually looks like a female body and not like a supermodel interpretation of a female body. And she's actually really good. Really great figure. Kind of makes me sad that, you know, she won't be available to most people. Part of the reason why she's so limited is because the Lex Luthor wave is not hitting retail very much. It's hit a few stores here and there. It's not hitting online in mass quantities, and she's 1 per case, while the other 3 figures are 2 per case. Except for the Batman, who's 3 per case, which I don't know why. It's a case of 8, it's a set of 4. Why is there not 2 of each? That really seems like a no-brainer. So because of that, Vixen's become incredibly rare, plus she's a really highly demanded character. I would have put 1 Wonder Woman and 2 Vixens, personally, because of knowing the fan base. Unfortunately, Mattel doesn't seem to know the fan base, and they're losing the license, so it's tough. But really great figure. I like this new female body they created for Multiverse because it gives it a little bit more realistic proportions. The legs are a little long, but since they can crouch down a bit, it works out in the end. But I do like it. I like it more than the old one. This one's got a weird, she's got a weird gap in her torso. I'm not sure if that's everybody's or just mine. But, you know, it works out. Articulation's pretty good. I would like double jointed elbows, but it's a single joint that gets almost 90, so it doesn't have quite enough. I wish it bent a little deeper, and I wish the ankles had a little bit better of an angle to them, because like the way they are, they're kind of pointless to tilt. I'm glad we got rocker ankles and everything, but when they don't work because of the design, it kind of sucks. But really cool, and I did get the Lex Luthor Build-A-Figure piece, which, should I say Collect and Connect? Here it is. So I'm on my way to Lex. I still need to get the Batman, the Ray, and the Wonder Woman. I was waiting until I got her, so in case I had to buy a set of 4, I could do that, but now I got her, so I can get the other ones and finish Super Lex. Plus I have the extra head from Spoiler, and I still need to get the Harley Quinn from the Walmart, which I didn't get because my stores didn't put them on sale like I wanted to, because I didn't want to pay full price for a Harley. And I forgot to mention her bird, but this is a little thing to be like the Tantu Totem's interpretation of a bird for replicating flight powers, but it's just the same bird that they've been releasing through DC Classics and Masters of the Universe Classics for over a decade, just in purple. But at least they gave her an accessory. If this was like, I don't know, other companies, sometimes Hasbro doesn't include an accessory with Marvel Legend because they don't know what to put with it. This is a very loose interpretation of her powers, but hey, it's something. And I'll always take something over nothing. So that does it for this week on Soundout's Pickups. If this ran too long, or if it was a little too rambly, or I talked too fast, let me know in the comments. Gonna kind of take a couple weeks to get into the groove of this, I think. But overall, probably not gonna have as much stuff next week, mostly because I bought a lot of Primal Age. The wonderful idealistic view of this is that next week I'll be here with Batman and Wonder Woman and being like, I'm done with Wave 1. But I got a couple things coming in the mail, So we'll see what happens. Not sure yet, but I'll record better notes, I think, of when and where I got stuff. But yeah, that does it for this week, and stay tuned for next week, and stay tuned for more videos that I have down the pipeline. I'm coming up to my 10th anniversary on YouTube, so we'll see what I actually do with that. Anyways, till next time, this is Soundout say goodbye.